up, superhumans? I'm calling in the Star Crew. This is an impromptu. How are you guys tonight? It is this date and time really doesn't matter. These are quantum and multidimensional messages. So even if you don't see this today, it is Monday, October 19th, and I'm going to wait and see if anybody comes on. You're getting this message when you need to. I've got one on. Hello. How is everybody? I know it has been super intense. It's what I want to come on and talk to you. There's two on here. Come on in, guys. How is everybody doing? It has been super, 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 super intense. I'm going to play a little music back here just for a minute. Y'all tell me hi. Who's on? Who's on? Y'all wave at me. Come on, let's share some energy. Give me some energy. I'm giving you some energy right now. I speak the truth. This is more Chiba. I don't know if y'all know this band, more Chiba. Hello, Concrete Angel. Hi, guys. My Star Crew. If you're getting this message right now, welcome, sisters and brothers, because I know this is some high vibes we got working here. This is more Chiba, and this album is Big Calm. It's one of my favorites, and I'm not sure why I'm tuning that energy. There's three on. How's everybody doing? Let me put my earbuds in here. I'm not going to chat about this music. I'm not exactly sure what all I'm going to share right now. First of all, I'm going to let you know y'all aren't losing it. Things have been out of control, intense, 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 intense. So first of all, put your hands with mine and say, yay, it wasn't you. All of us were doing it together. We have, we just anchored today. Now, this has been for all my superhuman beings, right? My major star seeds. And when I say that, if you are watching this right now, or if you see it in the next three between now, October 19th and October 31st, then you are a mega star seed. I don't even need to see your chart. How do I know it? Because you wouldn't be able to pick up the frequency to come with us right now. I just got a heart skip right here. So that's a confirmation from somebody. So, okay, there ain't no way that you'd be showing up to listen if you weren't on the same frequency, and we haven't been on the same mission this whole time. Now, when you find this video, it is time for you to find it. And hi, love and grace. And some of you might not ever see it, right? Or I might even hide it in a while. I've done that before too, because this is how we communicate to let us know what's going on. And I have some major messages. I mean, this shift in Libra, right? Is what people were calling the event. Hi, Celie Rose. Celie Jane. Dragon crowns. Yes, crown him. Crown him. Crown him. This song was coming in my head today too, because we had Joshua codes come in. Physical union codes came in. There has been for the past when did it start? Today is the 18th. Right after I left New Orleans, because this was all about, okay, the start of the precession of the equinoxes, which is a 36-year cycle, okay? We are in the start of year 21, okay? It took 18 years to get the message out. Your message the other day was spot on for Venus. I feel very close to you. And call back in Venus too. All of you that know you have major Venus, that's something I had to do today, was call back in the Venus codes because of this Egyptian alignment that we had today. It took 18 years to get the call, okay, and to fully receive the message and imprint. And there's many of us that are processional beings. Hi, OG Lightworker, Light Warrior. There's some of us that are processional beings. If you're a processional being, you know it, okay? And you definitely have a twin, and you definitely have a twin that you've never been with on any other timeline. I don't know how many of us there are. This is what I am. I'm a processional being, and I had a twin that came in. I mean, it was Prince. I mean, we're the same size, 5'2", everything. He brought in, and he died right before I activated in 2017. I'm telling you this because I'm showing you processional counts. So, for example, when you're a 9, when you hold that 9 energy, which is a lot of Libra, Arcturian energy, it doesn't have to be that. It can just be you're linked into the consciousness. I mean, it could be any way that you're linked and ascended into that 9 energy. Then you're going into the processional beings, and then there's masters, and then you know there's that's where you get your mastery, and then there were actual, you know, the incarnate beings, and then there's masters, and then you know there's that's where you get your mastery, and then there were actual, you know, the incarnates of the masters that started reincarnating in 2017. So right now, we would be considered in year 21, or when everything gets completely reset and everybody goes back and starts, because right now what's happening is that everything is going to start, is course correcting. So right now what's happening is that we are literally at the start of year 3. This is year 3 of Christ consciousness. It is not year 1. It did not just happen. All of us had to come in and consciously create it together, which is why we've got 5 on the line right now. Not 25,000, not 100,000, you know. We're not tarot and chilling. Right? I do that. I'm like, I get sucked into it, the tarot and chilling. It goes in 9-year counts. So this started with when that eclipse, the Great American Eclipse, the first one, okay? And I was in Springfield. It's right outside Springfield. I can't remember if it's Springfield or Jackson. There's a reason I don't know exactly and can't remember. I've got it. I can tell you if I go look it up. But there's a place right there in Missouri that I had to be for that eclipse, and it's where both eclipses are going to hit, because there's another one that's coming from south to north to do another alignment. But in 2017, that eclipse blew out. You bought a doll from my friend Michael in New Orleans. Has a shaman for my wife. Yeah. Oh wait. I just had it out. I keep my I have it in my purse. Hold on. This amazing man that we were in New Orleans. It was on my birthday, and then his name was Michael. We had just brought in and cleared. That's when we stopped the storm in New Orleans, and that has something, you know, to do with this. Hold on, let me find it. I bought this little pouch. I didn't get the doll. I bought this little pouch. He makes these little pouches, and he makes dolls. He hand makes them and sews them. It's a Coco22G on my Insta if you want to go check it out. It's Michael. You can put his stuff here too, but he makes these really cool dolls. And he puts a tarot card in it, and it had the moon. No, strength card. Strength card. So, thank you. I have 10 dolls. Wow. Well, 1010's you're seeing 1010, 1001, 9191. If you constantly are seeing 0110. Those of you who are more from the future and are more of like what I call my decorators, you see it, you see everything in 2s and 4s. So you might be seeing 020, 040, 131 was a big one today, especially in trinities. I know I haven't taught y'all all that yet, but if you see numbers in a trinity, meaning the two outside numbers are the same, okay, and then the middle number is different. So 232, 343, 535, 626, 868. Okay, those are triangulation quantum DNA codes that you're starting to catch, because 232 is actually 55, because it goes 2 plus 3. So the middle number 3. So let's say it's 232. So 2 plus 3 is 5. 3 plus 2 is 5. So that one's 55. If it's 9110, or 9119, then that's 929. So then that's 2 plus 9 is 11. 2 plus 9 is 11, right? I get 141. So that's 55. And 55 is the number codes that have been coming in all day, which is why I'm online with y'all. We've been waiting on 55. We've been waiting on 55. That's what we've been waiting on. And let me go back to the processional count, okay? So in 2017, all right, those of us that were conscious, or those of us that were awoken, those of us that I got it today actually. Those of us that were awoken, because a lot of us were literally awoken in 2017 in order to bring in and because if you want to say that we came from the future, you can say that, but I mean, there is no time. What it did was activate much higher DNA codes in us, and there were many of us that were hybridized and planted here on purpose for it. Some of us hidden, some of us not. What happened was in 2017 is that everything in another timeline had blown up. 2012. The 2012 was the actual mind flip. Everything went into quantum, right? So there's some of y'all that were holding it for then, but it didn't complete, because there weren't enough of us that were awake. I mean, but those of you that activated were holding for the rest of us. What I'm telling you is that Christ consciousness all the codes are in, all the rays are in, all the GIZA alignments are back together. The masculine has been 100% healed, and those have been the twin falls codes were pushed through today. The Christ consciousness codes and the rewrite came in yesterday, or the day before yesterday. All of them are blending together, just because I had to fight through so much freaking witchcraft, voodoo, all this crazy ass crap. So if you had any type of dreams about dolls, if you had any type of dreams, crazy that doll thing came up just now after I think about it. Because I'm jumping all over the place, but give me just a minute. Somebody's really trying to ask me a question right now. Girl, I built it and it's open for the reading. Hello, Delaney. 5 plus 5, I got my activation. I got 7, 7. I don't want this video to go super long. I tend to talk a lot. So when that processional equinox came through, then what happened was we had to replan Earth. So there's beings that have been conscious here their entire existence. If you have Antares, which is where the moon just went through when we completed these Christ consciousness codes today, then these union codes to anchor them. And it wasn't just that, because there were a lot of us that were walking the shadow of this. And there's, there's so much to this story, okay? Especially dealing with the divine feminine and all the connections that needed to be made and what was going on with breeding programs. And because it all had to do with what? Acrturus and IZAR. If you are watching me on Insta, if you're not, Coco22G, because I put stuff up there, and last night it was the perfect alignment of Virgo, and the sun is literally in her hand, right? And I put out there, bowling, anybody? And right there at, let me see if I can show you. It's the prophetic alignment. This is the Venus transits that we're culminating, and what the collective has been writing ever since that 2017 eclipse. So it's like the light workers, the energy healers, the star seeds, anybody that has been consciously involved, whether you were in it and undercover in the dark, whether you were, meaning, because a lot of us were, or if you were holding full love and light this whole time, or if you've been doing massive healings for everybody, or if you've been, whatever it's been, if you've been conscious, okay, since 2017 and in 2019, okay, your consciousness has been rewriting the collective. Now, in 2018 is when Venus got involved, and Venus went through Mercury and then went all the way to 16 degrees. And when we started backing up, holy hell. I don't know if y'all want to go back to 2018, but when Venus got right there, I don't even remember the time frame. We started backing up, and that's when all this divine feminine stuff was coming out. We rewrote the consciousness already. If you've been paying attention, all the things about the four princesses from Russia, all the things about Rasmussen, all the timelines about voodoo and demons and the Marsons and the Indian tribes, and the Trail of Tears and all this war and all that stuff, and literally in 2018 our jobs, some of ours and mine, was to get rid of those Marsons and the lower frequency entities that were stuck here. They were stuck here. They were stuck here, and then they couldn't get out. And then it was like, then those energies culminated, and that is what was being ruled by that old program. All right. So in 2018, all that crap was coming out, right? But that's when the collective started rewriting it. So your DNA, okay, and your DNA strand was proven then by whatever you were doing, because this is how your DNA strand is gonna be proven and written, as long as you are claiming, and as long as you are paying attention and not just letting these opportunities and things pass you by, no matter what it is. That's a whole different conversation and a whole different mastery, okay? But what I'm saying is, no matter what it was in 2018, that is what collectively is now imprinting in the entire matrix and entire history codes. Because it's moving up an entire evolutionary shift, and the matrix has been recoded back to Arcturian 1313. If you're seeing 1313, you're seeing 1331. That's 141. That's 55 again. Okay, 1313 are the original Acrturus matrix codes, because Acrturus is in Libra. On that hinge, it actually was a freaking, just like a door hinge that was like an elevator type. The 13, exactly, and that's what it's the 13th mention, and that is what we relocked and cleared Zeta out of today in Osiris's chamber. And a huge beam came out of his eye, a gold ray, after it lined back up, and I saw it. But it was today when Mercury was going retrograde, okay, in Scorpio, and the sun was on IZAR, because our 18 degrees of Libra on the outskirts, all the way over into, right over into, on the right up to Spica, which is 22. If you have 20 to 24, then you have not only Arcturian but Spica energy, which is kind of like it's a flow energy. The internet bothers you, but know that that's because you're the tech. If I if if you have as much consciousness as I do, and I'm in your house and you're playing a playlist and I know you have a song on there that I want to hear, if I walk in my mind and say, I really want to hear that song, sometimes it'll switch it. And I won't even know. Like, I'll be like, oh crap, sorry. There's so many examples I can give you, but that's because your energy literally is this it's the field that the technical currents existed in, is the best way to put it, because you're not the technical, you're not the static, you're the field that the static existed in. You're the flow. It's why you need to dance and stuff. It's also why you specifically might even have some things that you have to do in order to claim inheritance that are like me and totally don't make any 3D sense at all, because you have to 100% be in the flow. You also cannot be afraid of technology at all. You have to understand that you are technology. That's what is. Stars is the energy of technology. It was used against us. It was set on a different parallel with these crazy fucking timelines. But now what I'm telling you is that that grid no longer exists. It is not anchored at the 33 parallel of the equator. Osiris's chamber has now been recentered, which is what all of us ancient Egyptians, and also the queens, any of you that are queens connected into any of Cleopatra, Nefertiti, Isis, all of us in our multidimensional aspects that were ready for this. It's why the queen's pyramid is set where it's set. It's why all the queens are buried there. It's why there's the empty chamber in the sarcophagus, in order to channel all the queens, so that in 2017 we could at least channel it to one being, which happened to be me. And then my body was hybridized in order to receive it. But all of y'all have been sending me this stuff this whole time. Wife of thoughts. Well, they did pump me with mercury for 3 days to bear Rex. That's why Mercury going direct today, and with all the consciousness that we've been doing, rewriting it, was enabled us to lock in these 1331 codes and lock in the 13th dimension. So that means that October 31st, there's a massive alignment to reset basically me energetically. I know today also, if you are connected with any dragon energy, because that was the etheric union that's already taken place and being prepared. Those dragons were freed. One, I was being held by my neck, and my twin was being held at a different angle, but being made to stare at me. If you saw something like that, then that means you have that and you have that connection into that dragon lineage, and that means this is union. You're coming in union. So I saw how we were tied together today. We were, and it released. The other thing that I really want to just jump on, I'm getting real tired all of a sudden. It's been a long day. Is what else I saw, because And this is just important because now understand, you know, the collective, we the collective are running the consciousness. You know, it's what does that mean? It You guys and all the little weird things that maybe you've done over the past 3 or 4 days, we're all sending all each other signals. I mean, so multidimensional and so telepathic, it'll blow your mind. I mean, the secret was in Mexico, and I had the secret in my house. It was an Egyptian being. It's Fernando. I mean, but he holds the Ma'at energy in a masculine form. He has a little sister that has my same exact chart almost. And I mean, in the process of going to Rex's game and this and this and that and redriving Fort Worth, because I'm here in Texas still, and this is where a lot of this crap is originating, especially dealing with satellite systems and telecom and that type of thing. Consciousness, that's what I mean. It's like all of us are making these little decisions, and each decision that you make and calling in what you want to see. Don't focus on when you see something that you don't like. Now realize you can change it. So it's like there will be, you know, massive corporations that shut down now just because the consciousness knows it's already happening, right? But what I'm saying is that that same consciousness is what you would call Christ consciousness. What does that mean? That means that you unlocked the 33 gate in your energy field to where now you have ascended your energy enough to be able now to understand that, you know, there's truth and lies and everything. It's acted in, and there is no good, there is no bad. The information is what it is. It's information, and you have the power to change it. When you see things that bother you, instead of emotionally charging to, and because don't emotionally charge to it, even if you're mad about it, that's what they want you to do, is to scream and holler and get upset about it, because then that's going to concrete it for them. So whatever that information is, then take it in and go, okay, what do we want? That's what I'm seeing, but what do I want now? What is best for the collective? What's the alternative? Bring a solution in your mind. And what I'm saying is, if each of us just keep doing that, then all of us that are have those specific bins that are connecting that information, and then are the ones that are putting it together, and each of us have, you know, our own special skills and our own piece that we're bringing to it. And then you claim it, and you've got to make a move and do it, right? You can't sit on it, because if it's something that you think that you want to do, but also realize whatever's yours is yours. I mean, if it's yours, it's yours. If it's there's a race on something from a DNA strand, and some, but there is, you know, on some of these, that's a different story. So since last year, on my birthday, 2019, actually it was October 11th, 2019, I knew that I took a comet. I didn't know if it was a comet, what exactly it was that energetically hit me at the gold spike, but I also knew that I was there disrupting the pattern flow, because I had an event that is going to have a whole movie about it. But here's the point. Since that, and energetically, what I had to do, because I'm a star basically, and I was already so conscious, I'd planted the earth, because I am the new earth, because I planted it, birthed it, blah 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 blah. If you've been, you know, and this was also taking on Rex's DNA in January 2019, because he was the Horus, the white parakeet. So basically the collective has been, since January 2019, rewriting the divine masculine codes, and that is what completed today, and will fully anchor on October 31st. For the rest of the masses, is already anchoring in the ones that are ascending now. That was a lot, okay. I had to say that because 3 times now, and because I go out to star consciousness a lot, and 3 times now, I've seen that something like bumper carring off the field, always on the left of me, and it's ever since that whatever that was that came at the Earth's field. Okay, now I know that what it was is that we had to skip a dimension up in order we had to basically disrupt a record needle alignment type thing, and since it was like spinning when we did that, then it clanked it, which then created an alternate that pushed us into a different trajectory so that we wouldn't get sucked back in. If we would have, then we would have ended up in the orbit of Jupiter and Mars, and not very bueno, right? So since we did it in that timeline, it had to happen, and I've seen it now on 4 different timelines. Even rocks coming at my car and breaking out the whole windshield, like the whole windshield, like somebody, like how did it even not just come up like spider web and everything? Because something will come at you in your timeline if you disrupted something, and because it's still coming at you, it's just you're over it or under it, or you've already embodied it, so now it's a little just broke your windshield. Okay, so some of you this might be a big, oh, okay, that's what the hell all that was. But what I'm telling today is that I saw something different for the first time. And there was a reflection to the left. Now, I'll also add, if you've been watching Gina Marie, I love her to death. And she catches all the stuff that we do. And it's so freaking cool. And she caught the beam coming out of Jupiter. Now, see, that happened about 3 weeks ago. I would say I can't even remember what we were doing. In fact, today was since that Jupiter event, today was the first time that my consciousness went all the way back out into the star systems, because I had to go back down really, really, really low. A bunch of stuff's been going on. She caught those beams coming out of Jupiter. Now, let me tell you what I saw when it happened. In my right eye, and see, now we've had to ascend Jupiter and Jupiter's eye a whole bunch of times, because basically Jupiter was like the anchor that was holding down all of these Orion and Gemini, Alpha Draconic, O hybridized programs that were all linked to the first generation star Betelgeuse, which finally went supernova. And then also Bellatrix, which is 20 degrees Gemini, which is the one that we're rewriting now, because the collective has to have some type of program. But this is what I'm telling you. In order to clear this, and I've got it on a chart, basically is that book over there? We had to, Jupiter was in the middle holding it all up. So literally, there is no more Orion program. There is no more Pleiadian program. Anything that wasn't organic, if it's not Lyra and it's not Vega and it's not the sun, moon, Pluto, then now it is nothing. There is no more Orion program. There is no more Pleiadian program. There is no more Acrturus. Really, because now it's an energetic ray that it's all mixed in together through consciousness and through physical human form, and it only exists here by the beings who were conscious. It doesn't interfere. You can't change anything on this plane now if you're not because we've all embodied where we're walking it here now. So Jupiter was a big deal because it was kind of it really was like this ball that was holding this black spider web out into space is the best way to describe it. If you want to think about like the close planets, you know, like Mercury, Venus, and Mars and the sun, you know, that's all in your, that's like in your body. And then you get to Venus, and then and then Venus is like the that your field exists in. But then you've got Saturn and Pluto and Neptune, and they're all out. So you can basically think of Jupiter was set up like a little cog ring, like pickup sticks or whatever those things called, where all the sticks go in like a ray, and then coming out of it. So what happened was I went up into the star systems to do so. I don't remember how I got, usually it's during healings. I'm doing healings on people, and then I end up out there cleaning it up. And all of a sudden I see Jupiter, and then I see this black, it was a portal, but I mean, it looked like a black straw. It was the damnedest thing, like, but it was coming straight from, straight for my eye. And so I literally pushed it to the side, and I didn't think anything of it really. I mean, I was like, hey, we just moved Jupiter. It was because I knew it was some type of portal that attached to Earth, but I didn't think that Gina would catch it, and she did. So that's just another confirmation for y'all. And I'm sharing that because I know that y'all don't hear the day in, day out of the things that we're calling in and seeing as we're doing this etheric work. Because what happens is you make the change out there, then you're going to see, then she caught the change because she can see into that dimension. She can capture it. That's why a lot of you can capture things like I can in different things. Not everybody can do that. If you can see it, then you can capture it. And so she still saw that coming from further out. So what I'm saying is that on the 31st is when those pulses are going to hit here, with this complete alignment, to attach back. And this is the final this is the Acrturus ray, that energy that had been kept off the planet from humans. It was basically the technology, and it was the grids, and it was the electric grids, and it was the Wi-Fi. It was all that shit, okay, that was basically just being captured just a little bit above us and then sold back to us, okay, or siphoned from us, all right? But it was all being held up with satellites and different poles and different grids that are all aligned at different parallels and latitudes and longitudes on the planet. So what I'm telling you is that ain't there no more. And by October 31st, I mean, it's already not holding. Now it's come to my attention. Now this is, wait, so let me keep going. So this time what I saw, first of all, my twin and I are getting very close to meeting. And so there was a massive thing that happened with that today. And there's just healing that's going on. And that's when I saw that whatever it is bounce off the field to my left, and then all of a sudden I was in a core nucleus, kind of like a butterfly, and he because I had to surrender. It was the first time I'd ever surrendered to nobody. If you know me, I surrendered today. Yeah, that's what I said. I've been healing too, because I've had to embody so much masculine up until this point, and now I'm coming back into my feminine. But I surrendered into him, and then that's when I saw that thing bounce off, and then I saw us in the middle, and this massive wave, it was this lime green wave, came into our field, and it's like we were holding tight. I could see the earth and stuff around us, and as the energy came through, I could feel it coming through my field, and when it got right here, my eyes started glitching. and I could feel that connection, that final connection was happening, and then I was getting a right brain activation. But in my vision, I mean, it's like we held firm, and because it was bouncing off, and I consciously pulled it in, and it was, and it went through and through us. It didn't take that long, but I'm telling you, I'm pretty sure that was a shock wave of some sort that I just want everyone to know we absorbed it. So if you're hearing any timelines or anything like that where people are calling for shock waves and big planetary, like, there is going to be events that happen, but they're going to happen attached to people's energy in different areas and activations. We're going to have crazy snow in certain areas. We've never had snow. Snow's going to be a big one. If it's all of a sudden snowing in your area, it's because you broke that grid. This is the crystalline age. Your DNA is crystal, you know. I don't know if you can see me shining. I'm like, even my fingernails now have like a pink, they have like, you can't see it on here maybe, but they've got like pink glitter in my nails. This is a crystalline. That's because when those energy grids break in the atmosphere, it's crystallizing, okay? But there isn't going to be, I know what that shock wave actually is what we ended up using consciously in order to activate Christ consciousness here. Because however it came, I don't care. I don't care who sent it. I don't care none of that, because that's what we do. What we do, the only way the collective made it out of this is for flipping all the ill intent on its ass. Period. Nobody gave us love. Nobody was helping. You can track your ascension through your eyes too. Watch your eyes. The more, if they get more dimensional, and then maybe they'll blow out, meaning you'll have like big white spots. Your eyes are going to change because they're like 35 millimeter cameras. What you're doing is learning how to pick up other dimensions. You might have had to build dimensions like I did. And if you did, and your eyes became look like crystals and like, oh my God, so many lines, it's because you had attached to so many timelines. And then as those timelines start shifting, not only will they collapse in your eye, then it heals in the neuron. And then also, if you've been doing a ton of energy change, you might even be getting new lines on your hands. Because I've got all these triangles now because I've triangulated so much energy, and I can feel them burning in my hand, and I know that there's an earthquake or something going on. But then also I have changed trajectory. I mean, it shows up on your hands. All of it is in a system. Your body changes and then your reality changes, not the other way around. Your ascended body codes create your reality. Your reality does not dictate your body codes. Your body codes, and claiming those highest dimensions, and the rewrite that we did in Venus in 2018, and everything that's happened since then, course correcting history, reclaiming production companies, reclaiming broadcast companies, reclaiming banks, reclaiming and nullifying the Treaty of Paris, nullifying this, nullifying that. No, we don't want that. All that, all it is, and the true royal lineages without the cloning bullshit. Because you can't just jump in and call yourself king and steal Egyptian clones, Obama. You can't just do that. And Rumpy Rump and Iden look like twins. Has anybody else noticed? I mean, come on. When you look at Acrturus, you have Spica, and then you go a little bit further, okay? So that's like up to 22 degrees. Acrturus is going to go all the way to about 24, 25, because Boots is a big constellation. That's the Arcturian ray. Arcturus is also on the other side of Algorab. It's going into the body codes now. So whenever you get to 25 degrees of Libra, then you're now in the orb of IZAR. And IZAR, if you look at like that Antarctica that I showed you that really is Excalibur's sword, because I had the sword. That really is Excalibur's sword. And Excalibur's sword right there links into the star system of Algorab. Algorab is 12, well, it's 12 degrees exactly. So it's 10 degrees to 14 degrees of Libra. And it really is like the crux. It links into the crux. It links into the cross, which then links into Antarctica, which is how the matrix is, and everything is controlled by the star system and the star energies. In the Moses state. And so that's also, when you get a staff, then that means you've mastered magic in this realm, like you're a wizard in this realm. If you, in any dimension, if you're awarded a staff of some sort, then that's your ceremony of mastery. FYI. So good job, Delaney. IZAR, and that's what I'm going to finish off with, because that's the codes that have been rewritten now. And it's important that everybody understand that IZAR is basically the body templates, which we would call from the future. Or you could call us the clones, the hybrids. You can call us the femme fatales. The toy soldiers is what I call the femme fatales and the toy soldiers, because this is what was happening down here. DNA, and if you're having any types of dreams of like body suits and human flesh suits and consciousness of other humans getting shifted into them, or you've been fixing it in your dreams, or I've seen them on hangers before in visions. That is what was going on down here, because that IZAR right there from 25 to 29 degrees, what that is it's Arcturus and the Alpha Draconic Ray. It's right where both line up. Well, Alpha Draconic Ray gives you bones. Okay? And then that's also going straight to the other side of Aries, that's at 25 degrees, which was Andromeda, which is where this was all jacked the fuck up and on a CD-ROM, which is what we skipped, which is why we've got asteroids and things like that coming at us, because we're moving through a different area of space where we shouldn't have been stuck, because there's nothing vacant up there. That's your consciousness. It's the umbrella of consciousness. It ain't fucking space. So Arcturus and Alpha Draconic, those merged. Now the problem was, and without the Arcturian ray, without being in a higher consciousness and the planet being in a higher frequency and up in the star systems, then that Arcturian ray couldn't make it here to give a right and left brain connection for the body codes that were already existing here. If that, because of we'll just call it deception or not universal law, okay? Because that's what it was. So if you have IZAR, then know too, I mean, a lot of us, we were the ones undercover. I mean, we had people on the inside of Epstein. We had people, I mean, shit, we had people everywhere. Because we were the ones that the government made in order to control all y'all. So we were also the ones that had the mega starseed positions, because we were the ones that had to come clean up that karma, because ours was associated to it. Whether you did it to yourself or not, it didn't matter. That's why whenever people start healing and you're like, I never would have done this to myself. Well, maybe not. But it still ended up being what that DNA strand did because of the deception, which is why it is being allowed to be course corrected by universal law. Because if it ever was supposed to have happened through evolution, if this was a natural occurrence, then we wouldn't have needed divine intervention and none of this would have happened. So what I'm saying is that, you know, Izarians, a lot of us are in government, a lot of us are in entertainment industry, a lot of us are, I mean, there's a lot of us, But of course, a lot of people in power. So what I'm telling you is those people are getting shocked the fuck activated. Because if you have IZARian codes, now you cannot exist if if your soul is so low in frequency. See, that's what the COVID really is. The COVID really is you're clearing your body. You're having to get rid of all the mucus. I mean, if you want to call it that, I've had it 3 times. I mean, you have to clear the body. Now, I'm talking about the main MFers that are dying. They're dying not because COVID killed them. They're dying because their soul frequency is so low. It should never be in that spaceship and be in that body. And their body is going up in frequency and the inside of them can't, and it literally has a disconnect and you die. That is not COVID. That is, you're in somebody else's bodysuit. Now, you can ascend through that. Anybody can. Anybody can. But you've got to work at it. You've got to get your soul up to the frequency and understand what all you've done or what you were made to do, because it's the number one reason you were here, because you had to do all of it so you could undo it, because only you can undo it if you did it. Does that make sense? And if you're not, and this is how, whenever you undo it for your lineage, it corrects it, counter-corrects it for everyone else. So this big wave and everything now, they're all getting shocked activated. That's what I'm even saying. This is going to be, it's basically a massive heart activation for the entire planet. It's what we've been waiting for. But it's not just, it's the Venus transits finally linking in as well over the whole pentagram. The last 1,000,000-year count, I mean, it's restoring back all the proven timelines and course corrected to start the new age. We'll have 1,000 years peace. And it's here. We'll have 1,000 years peace. I know personally, if I want to, I can live another 252 years down here. A lot of us can. That's, you know why? Because I cleared 300 years in the past and the future, and literally died 3 times doing it. So I literally, I couldn't die anymore because I can't get any younger. I mean, I'm fixing to be 48. Because what's going to happen is, because this is human evolution, and I mean, it is the human experiment. It is human consciousness. So 1,000 years is how long we have until we go into another ascension type cycle. However, this ascension cycle has never been done before, because this is, the entire collective is hooked in now. It's a complete rinse. Literally. Everybody should be on their front lawn talking to their neighbors and going, oh my God, do you know what they had me doing? They had me working as an accountant, running numbers and color coding systems. Oh my God, do you know what they had me doing? I was thinking really horrible sexual thoughts about my daughter. Oh my God, do you know what they had me doing? I mean, literally, I don't care what you did before. I don't care. If you, and this is peace for everybody. This is Christ consciousness. This is compassion. This is understanding that none of this was according to universal law, but it also was, in a way, us coming against ourselves. And so we have to learn from these lessons, and each of us' story and whatever we were being utilized for is the exact shadow thing that you have to understand. You must harness some power in that area, because our powers are insane. Your power is insane. I mean, the main problem with all the ascended ones is that nobody really wants to admit their power. You know, I get that. I totally get that. It's what I train and talk about. But whenever you really get down to it, whatever you think is coming against you or whatever you feel like you need to fight so damn hard, it's because somehow or another you're involved with it. So don't fight it. Ingest it. Eat it. Num 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 num. Tell me all about it. I got the collective consciousness hooked in. So, hey guys, what do you think about this? If that makes sense. And one more thing, and I'm going to jump off. And tonight, I got 1012 up here, 5522 right now, 77 gate. 77 gate is flipping perception. It's all about flipping perception. Every single DNA strand, every single test, right, that you clear, and that we've been clearing and connected through our fields like rainbows, literally on our fields. They have lock and keys, and each one of us opens different locks and keys. And where was I going with that? Oh, 7 gate. So a lot of times on a lot of, like right now, we've done so much healing in our group. It's a lot of it's not you as far as needing to heal. It's you being tested. It's you being tested because you've claimed something that's above where you are now. So it's like something else is going to show up on this other timeline really, really quick, either in your physical or it's going to show up in your mind, which is why I'm talking about now the moon and why I wanted to get on tonight and do this video. So at least those of you that are here, that are conscious, that are listening, know tonight, do not let your fucking mind fuck with you. Do not let your mind fuck with you. Okay? Whatever it is, don't question, don't second guess yourself. Don't let your mind mess with you, because today we energetically went so high as an ascended collective. Okay? All attached. Some of y'all said, and now you could have, I said today, but this could have happened to you 3 days ago, or it could happen to you 2 days ago. Because we're all in different dimensional time set, but it's still time. It's still the same time, if that makes any sense. So, but right now, as a collective, the whole orb of us went really, really high, and so those of us who were doing that and were consciously in this high vibe. Now we've got Moon going to go over Ophiuchus 2. Ophiuchus 2 is Giza and the pyramids. Ophiuchus 2 is the Pharaoh. Okay, whereas the beginning of Sagittarius, 0 to like 3 to 4 degrees, that's Ma'at consciousness. That's not the Pharaoh. That's the consciousness that the pharaohs were linked into. It was the Akashic library. Okay, now when you get on the other side of 20, going towards the galactic center, that starts the orbit 25. Okay. Now you're dealing with Ophiuchus 2 codes. What does that mean? That means that your body is a walking obsidian rock. So right now what I'm saying is that as a collective, this moon is squaring off Venus. Venus is trying in codes, man. Venus is like, here they are, please take them from me. Please take them all. I cannot hold them up anymore. So all that streaming to Saturn, which is now going forward. Jupiter's coming up. Pluto's dead on the 22. Everything's clear. Everything's reset. We just activated new frequency on the planet. It's out there. It's coming in. It's already coming in here. I know you feel it. Also, all timelines and all deception timelines have been erased from any twin unions from your consciousness. Anything that hurt your heart since 2017, when all this began, if it is not of highest good for you to have it in your Akashic memory or your emotional body, it has been called in to be cleaned by the King and Queen today. So this is massive. And the moon is going through Ophiuchus 2 in the next 2 days, and then it'll go over the galactic center, which is going to be a full wash of what we would consider that moon energy. So if whatever you are, if you're a moon person or a sun person, whatever it is, okay, just realize when that energy flips the next couple of days, it might be extreme. Just know that's what it is. That's all it is. It's like because it's the entire consciousness of right and left brain, which is also the raw consciousness merging with the Syrian consciousness, merging, right? I mean, that's what union really is. Union is the Syrian, pure, angelic, Akashic. It's Mary Magdalene and Yasha becoming one person. But it was kept in these sites because Sirius is way over here. It's where the true creative and true, that Cancer energy, right? Which actually makes your heart valve and your soul. It's everybody's fixing to meet their spirit guide in the flesh as a lover, as a friend. Do y'all have any questions? I'm already at an hour. It takes forever to upload this after. It's crazy. But I want to just make sure you tell everybody and don't let your mind mess with you, okay? And then also just don't second guess yourself, your manifestations, and if you should be getting, and assign your manifestations numbers and color codes and colors so that the universe can use it to show you it's coming. Hey, Grace, how are you? There's Grace Aquarius. She was in the polo team. We were on this mission together at Blood of Christ Mountains in Colorado through the COVID. Does anybody have a question? If y'all have a question, ask me real quick because I'm fixing to hang up. Hopefully y'all can go back and start from the beginning if you just came on. Whatever you feel like eating, eat. Whatever you feel like drinking, drink. I love you too. I love all of y'all so much. I mean, this journey, right? I mean, and the truth is, the true reality is so amazing. It's so amazing. And it's linking into the grids to where you're gonna have so many more syncs and signs because again, you know, the truth. Let me get this dang thing. Hold on one second. This is a poster that I'm having made, but hold on. Oh, I'm like squashed up on my bed. This is also, hold on. This is also, I'm going to show y'all this diagram. This is all by Tesla numbers, and I'm also showing this because y'all are all getting all the Akashic libraries now. So, I mean, this is the raw Akashic libraries. This is Masonic, this is Freemasonry Akashic libraries. Some of you might all of a sudden just start seeing more type numbers. I literally have a video to go with that, everything you spoke about. Good. Scream it. Can y'all, is this backwards? Here, hold on, let me do it. Can I flip this? I'm not going to show y'all my dirty room. Venus, I like my stuff, but also if you happen to have piles of stuff around you, it's because you're gritting yourself to protect yourself. Leave it until you get ready to clean it. When you're energetically ready to clean, you'll clean your room. Like, whatever you're doing, whatever you feels natural right now is what you need to do because you're doing it for reasons you don't know you're doing it. So whatever you do, just don't do it because someone else or it's some way that you always did it before. If that makes any sense. Don't, your excuse is you're doing it on a different dimension and you don't know why because it's the truth. Okay. This is where, so you've got EI, which is this all is the organic code. So everything's going to be divided by 3 plus 2. It's full source, so like 30, 12, that's 3 to the 4th. There's no plus 1, there's no plus 2. It's its whole self. It's a power structure. And then AI, you're going to get 1 to 1, but it's going to be a plus 1. It's going to put a grid on it, okay? So it goes sun, moon. This is Vega, so this is blood, but this was the 3rd Lemurian race. This right here is what we connected into today. And this is the first aquatic ape that all humans were made from, and it's organic. This is blood. This is 15 degrees Capricorn, 2 degrees on each side, makes up Vega. This all happened at once. I've got these on a Big Bang code. This is going in the book. We're working on it. It's, man, this book, I'll be so glad when this thing's over. Okay, but then you got to think, as soon as sun comes, then as soon as an energy comes in, then the polarity forms. So it's like sun, then immediately birthed Mars, then immediately there was Vega, then Venus formed to hold it. Venus and Mars is Vega. It makes blood. This is the Gaia realm. Now Venus had a twin, Maldek. This planet blew up, but this space around it held that empty form. This was how we got here. Okay, we got to Earth from Maldek. And basically, it's where we are now. In a way, it's like we're kind of like right here. We're not down here anymore, because you have to remember, this isn't linear. This is dimensional with different, it's dimensional, okay? So Lyra is skin. So this is the root race of humans. So Lyra is different bubbles within these were the crazy timelines that we've been messing with, was to clear and get all these bubbles back together for Capricorn 22 degrees. Okay. But the Spica energy absorbs this. Moon, Pluto, and Saturn. So literally the Moon, Pluto, and Saturn alignment and all of those working together is what makes this Spica energy, which is your rose. All right? This is the natural brain process. This is the natural matrix. This is Spica. Everything's based on energetic flow, because this is all organic to the human energy field. Veins, cortex fluid, mouth, roots, uterus, this is all right here, okay? Uranus is over here. Water's right here. This is also Lily, okay? Now, when you get to Antares, then you're talking about the throat. But Antares is basically the mirror reflection of Spica. It's going to be the densest form. It's going to be the exact opposite density that this is high frequency flow. It's going to be the opposite. This is why it's an energy ray gate. But this is the gate that we just went through, throat chakra. Okay? Then the earth was a program, Terra was the real being. Well, all this is gone. Cygnus, Hyades. This is what made the brain function. The vagina's right here. Okay? This is where Terra is. This is where Earth is. Cygnus and Hyades. This is the angel program. This was the hell program. This was the first ascension gate. You either, in the very first ascension, in this millennial, you either were an angel or you became an animal. We could call it hell, but you just became an animal and you got your consciousness cut off from the angels, right? And then gone. This program's gone. Regulus, Acrturus. Regulus is the money frequency energy. It is the archangels. It's the Milky Way. Acrturus. We were the bad guys. We really were. It was the Regulus is Cygnus beings. Acrturus is going to be the merge of this with this. So we played some of these darker roles, which is why we're so wise, but it's also way the freak out. This is gone. Here's where the matrix is. And then everything went into Neptune. Now notice Neptune is the only 5 energy that we've got so far. Here's 44, here's the 88 gate. That's why you see the hell gate, but that's just that brain. That's just your brain messing with you. That's those two 77s, those two angles. Are you going to ping pong it back and forth? Democrat, Republican, Democrat, Republican. Are you just going to burst something new, right? But that is where Sirius is right here on Neptune, because this is the only change agent. Sirius energy is a change agent. Neptune is the consciousness. But all Sirian codes were doing was reminding us this guy existed. Because when this blew up, then what happened on this 9 timeline is that we became separated, and then we forgot that we had shadows. So the entire Egyptian program of Sirius and all the stories and everything from Egypt all the way down through the Christ programs was all based on this. And then it blew to this. So then they went into the neuron. Now we've got Orion or your Pleiadian, and Pleiadian is its own little thing. Now notice here's Jupiter. So everything from this point all the way back is really more in your body. It's inside the realm of energetics to where it's affecting the human body and your reality, okay? But when we get on this other side of Jupiter, here's where shit got cray. Because now you're dealing with the pineal gland, and now these are mass consciousness programs of these. So Orion, you either went into Beltagese or you went into Bellatrix. You went into one of these. This was the haves and have-nots. This was the men are the big power and have to have big muscles, and the women have to lay on their back and cook, but it was a procreation type thing. We were purposely being held in one of these programs if you held this energy, because they kept this energy off the planet in order to control this energy, which is money energy of the entire human collective. So, or you went into Andromeda, which is a Pleiadian thing, to where you think you're on a spaceship and you think that aliens are going to come save you. I'm not saying that that's not right. You could be in this gate, but that's why you think it, because you're in this program. And then Mercury and Aldebaran are over here. They equal 44. And then Chiron is basically all the Izarian, hybrid, and ascended consciousness. That's what created Chiron. And so Chiron's blown up. I mean, see, all this is why I wanted to show you this, because of Jupiter right there. So I'm saying all the programs from here to here, gone. Gone. There's no more program in the mind of consciousness. Now here's where it got real crazy, because we went out even further. So now we're dealing with deep space Ophiuchian energy. Why? Because everything blew up. Now we're getting into the Y chromosome, which is the original, and this is no R there. This is the original split. This is 3 degrees of Pisces. It's the original cut into the genome. And this is the twin consciousness. This is Romeo and Juliet, but this is Cygnus being. So Fomalhaut and Cygnus and Regulus, these are all the same beings. So it's like Regulus and Cygnus created this overall mass consciousness in the galaxies way out, if that makes any sense, right? And there's your Capricorn and Sagittarius is linked into here. This is your prefrontal cortex. Here's your pituitary gland, your third eye, frequency, hippocampus, right here. Okay, so this is like the full merge of your full energy. Now notice, this was the problem. this zeta reticuli right here is the only other 5, right? We had Sirius, we had Neptune. This is artificial. This hooked into this, okay? Look what's next. Alpha Draconic, 3 to the 23. Well, Alpha Draconic, that's your bones. That's the human template. Now, each one of those had its own little, there's 2 or 3 different templates, but no matter. It's hooked in to your bones, the human bone structure. So basically, this was like an energy grid that was being held from the bone to whoop, to right here, right to your Y chromosome. That and you know, like my birth father having issues, or anybody that has high sexual type of, especially men that hold a lot of Antarian energy, they have this unfathomable like sex drive, that so they deal with sex addiction, they deal with acting out sexually. And a lot of people in the 60s, that's what was going on. That's why, because they were bringing in those Antarian Y chromosome. You know, I mean, like my birth father, I know that he was taken to the doctor for it, you know, and that's what they told him. He had an enlarged Y chromosome. I know like 5 things about the man, and that's one of them. But it's because we were all incarnating back now in order to bridge this gap, because us as a collective put all of this back together since 2017. And my team, and my original creatrix team with an ONEG, with one flying in a plane from New York to Arizona, Sedona, that's when we crashed these codes, and right before 11/11/2018. So I mean, I know this for a fact because I was involved with all the missions that had to do with the body, because I was the first Alpha Draconic Notice 2 here. When I first got here, and I'll end this with this, because you know I've have come on here and been under attack, and there's been a lot of stuff that's happened, and there was every message was for a reason. But that was also the human experience that I was having in the middle of it. And we all had to make actions and do things that might not have made sense, because we were operating and connecting on these higher timelines, and basically taking the place of our ancestors and being shown where to be, who to call, what to do, because you were claiming inheritance. That is possible because you connected in this energy level up here at 232 or 323 or 555, or your 343 codes or your 242 codes, whatever it is in your DNA that you cleared, then your reality is matching it to you on that plane. Now you're going to see more visibly how the true organic existence is, and it's no longer getting beat up. You know, it's like you make a mistake so you don't mess it up the time you need to. You really can't make a mistake. If you make a mistake and you miss something, the reason that you missed it, especially if you catch it, if you catch yourself, okay, the reason you missed it is because it's going to happen again, and you can't mess up the next time. Your soul's going to do that for you. Don't feel like, hi girl, thank you for the emails. Don't feel like you did something wrong. okay? Because you really can't mess up. That seems foreign to us because we were in a bug zapper down here, energetically. And especially those of y'all that walked with me through reconnecting these timelines, because everything was attacking us. And it was energetically attacking us. It felt like it. We had to react that way no matter, because on a different dimension it was, and we needed that reaction because something has to make you mad to call in to negate all financial codes. Something has to make you upset in order that you call in certain things, because if we don't, no one does. I don't know if y'all noticed, but like in 2017, they would literally legit forget to put out the moon. Do y'all remember that? Like you have to understand what was going on down here. It was like we were being held down and everything was artificial. What I'm telling you now is that that is gone. So there is no more triangulation of things. There isn't one action that's going to cost you the rest of your life. That is the main, if we can just remember that, and as starseeds and as those of us, especially my Syrians, I mean, I know, holy crap, and they came after our heart in every aspect, because there is still a lower timeline that's being formed. Not everyone is ascending. It all happens for a reason. Not everybody in us is ascending. And that lower timeline is. And there still is an energetic force that's going to feel like resistance. But now what I'm telling you is that unless you create it, it can't do it again. Unless you create it, it can't do it again. So right now, when we're operating a little bit off PTSD, because that is, number one thing on the planet is everyone's manifesting. It's just everyone's manifesting PTSD. Everyone thinks that the war is still going on, but it's not. Because when you leave your house, it feels like it, especially if you're going to think it's coming at you, it'll come at you. But I'm telling you, that's the only reason why. Nothing's being sent to you. This is what I'm really having to get real quick. Okay, so I love you guys. I'm going to go so this thing doesn't take forever to upload. My email is coco@bcocochi.com. Fern's in the other room working on the cards. We working on the book. I was promised to visit the last place my grandfather we saw alive. Beautiful. Look, a lot of y'all might ask, just ask your consciousness, am I supposed to ask for a mantle from somebody? That's what my blue flame, that's what I would say to you. Ask your grandfather, am I supposed to ask you for the mantle? Because this is Akashic libraries that are all coming in now. So if you're being guided to visit, especially your grandfathers or their brothers or uncles, right? In the etheric, just remember to ask them if there's something that they're supposed to give you, especially the mantle, because mantles are Akashic libraries that were being held. And that's what I did. Great. See? You can't, it's just so beautiful. And just know we're changing it. And just know what we think counts. And everybody's got a new start. And that's including you. And so if we can just remember that today, all the deception, especially when I talk about twins, I'm not talking about one final love or this and that. We've got soulmates and twins on all around us, every single DNA, every single shadow, every single whatever. Call back in your shadows, call back in all your multidimensional selves in this now, and know that, I mean, I said today, this is whatever this event is, went in today. Now, when that exactly is going to keep manifesting, I don't know. There's so much craziness going on right now. I mean, you can't keep up. So, that final thing happened today. And we're all here to witness it. 1414, 1414. And remember, we're only in year 3. So until 2032, there's going to be earth shifts up to until around 2032. But see, this is where we don't know what's going to happen, so don't manifest it. What I'm telling you is that we absorbed a shockwave today. So this planet doesn't have to split at all if the more that awaken consciously. And so what I'm telling you is everyone's activating. So whatever it is you feel guided to do, do it. And we've got enough that we absorbed that shock and used it to our advantage, whatever it was. So I love you guys.